The hidden truth between money and spirituality. Every religion is lying to you about money, and I'm gonna prove it in this video using their own holy books. Buddha was literally a prince who chose poverty, right? Jesus had wealthy followers. He had wealthy followers funding his ministry. Every temple you have been to collect millions while telling you money is the root of evil. The Pope sits on a golden throne while preaching about the blessed poor. You want to know why you never seem to have enough? It's not because you're not spiritual enough. It's because you have been spiritually programmed to repel abundance. And the people making millions teaching spirituality, they know this secret. Let's get right into it. Now, the last video did really well, so thank you all. A few of you said it in the comment, Nero knowledge or copycat, whatever. For those of you who don't know, I'm actually one of Nero's old clients. He actually is the one that told me to start this after we had our coaching calls. I'm already a year late. Here I am. All right, point number 1. Your money problems aren't external. They are internal reflections. So the foundation that you have got to understand, and this is going to sound crazy, but stick with me. Your money problems aren't actually coming from outside of you. They're coming from inside of you. See, most people see money as this external force that's completely outside their control. Especially when random bills comes up, unexpected parking tickets, investment goes bad, and we'd be like, oh shit, life is happening to me. But that's the illusion, man. What's actually happening is that what you perceive outside of you is a direct reflection of what's inside of you. Your external reality is just a mirror of your internal state. I know that sounds like some woo-woo bullshit, but slow down now, game's loading. Think about it. When you're in a meditation or visualization, you know you have complete power and control in those realms, right? You can imagine anything, create any scenarios, and feel any emotion. You know it's all in your consciousness. But then you open your eyes and suddenly you feel limited again because your 5 senses are telling you that the physical world operates by different rules. But here's the key that most people miss, including myself, of course. The physical dimension doesn't actually run by different rules. It's just a denser frequency of the same consciousness that you access in meditation. Now, we mentioned it in the last video, right? Your 5 senses, which are, I hope you said it, taste, touch, smell, see, hear. The 5 senses, right? Which is essentially conceptualized as ego. They were literally designed to perceive the realms of illusion as if they were real. So that's a life could be constructed in the illusion. That's not me being like mystical. That's just how this whole game works. So when you're looking at your bank account and feeling stressed, you're not reacting to money. You're reacting to your internal beliefs about scarcity that are being reflected back to you through your circumstances. Now, there are people who seem to have that magnetization with money, right? They're not necessarily smarter than you. They're not necessarily harder working than you. But they have figured out how to perceive the physical plane, including money, as much an aspect of their internal beliefs as the subtle realms are in the meditations. And sorry, this isn't some new age concept I'm making up. This wisdom has been hiding in plain sight in every holy book, at least the ones that I've studied. So the Bible, Proverbs 23:7, says, as a man thinks in his heart, so is he. Your financial reality is a direct reflection of what you think in your heart about money. Another Bible verse, Matthew 6:21, goes even deeper. For where your treasure is, there your heart will be also. It's telling you that's your external treasure, your bank account, your financial situation is showing you exactly where your heart consciousness is focused. Now, I don't want to sound so generic because I feel like every time when I pull up a YouTube video, it's just like Bible verse. How about a different Eastern philosophy perspective? Something new, right? Dhammapada from the Buddha. They say this line. I'm going to use a different color here. All right, so this is a quote from the Dhammapada Buddha. All that we are is the result of what we have thought. Your struggles with money or your abundance It's all the result of your repeated thoughts about money and worthiness. Okay, now, not a perfect segue because, I didn't make the introduction controversial for no reason. I'm going to introduce my culture in the Chinese culture, the Tao Te Ching. What does it say? It says, therefore the sage is guided by what he feels and not by what he sees, because they understand that your internal feeling state creates your external reality. Do you see the parallel here with the Bible, the Dhammapada of the Buddhism, and the Tao Te Ching here? What's the parallel here? Every single spiritual tradition is pointing to the same truth. Your outer world is a perfect mirror of your inner world. Your bank account isn't showing you the economy or bad luck. It's showing you your consciousness about money. So when you're stressed looking at your finances, you're not reacting to money itself. You're reacting to your internal beliefs about scarcity that are being reflected back to you through your circumstances. By the way, if you're an entrepreneur who's stuck at a revenue ceiling and want to break out by working with me one-on-one, link in the description to book a call with me. And only book a call with me if you're serious about, changing your inner self. Point number 2, you have been programmed to fear and reject money. Now, here's where it gets really interesting, and this is more likely than not will trigger some old beliefs you didn't even know you had. Can you say, I love money without feeling weird about it? Go ahead, try right now. Say it with me. I love money. I love money. I love money. Did you feel that slight twinge, that little contraction? That's not your natural response. That's programming from the collective consciousness that has an adversarial relationship with money. See? We have been conditioned through religion, society, and family programming to believe that money is somehow unspiritual. But if you really love God and want to be a good person, you should have less, according to them. That poverty is somehow more holy than abundance. I can speak from experience. I went to a Catholic school and grew up in a Buddhist family. You can imagine the internal fight I have. My parents are always like, detach, don't cling on to money. But then when they see someone with an abundant amount of money flowing in, they go, yeah, they must have did something shady. Oh, they're using up their luck in advance like a credit card. They're going to reincarnate as a pig, as a dog, all that. I was like, okay. Even when I consciously declined, I was still brainwashed with this idea that receiving money is against spirituality. But Buddha was a prince, and Jesus had many followers. The temples I go to literally receive millions and billions of dollars every year. And they somehow tell you to stop caring about money. I remember specifically one time I was in a temple, and these monks were talking to a supposedly wealthy guy, and they kept telling him, hey, you should quit doing your private loan business. It's not ethical. My immediate reaction was, yo, how are you going to continue operating your temple without these people donating to your temple? Of course, I didn't say it out loud because I'm a polite man. I just kept quiet. But come on, that's so contradictory to me. And I see this all the time, including myself, when people used to give me wrapped envelopes with money inside it, which is essentially a Chinese tradition during Lunar New Year. I would sneak into the washroom and take a look at how much they gave me. If they gave me like $5, I'll be like, all right, you stingy fuck. But then when I see $100, somehow I feel guilty. I was like, damn, I only see you once a year. Do I deserve this? I just sound so paradoxical, right? But now I understand. It's actually because I was programmed to believe receiving money is somehow unethical. So subconsciously, I was repelling it. This is some serious backwards thinking if you think about it. How can you attract and bring into your life what you're repulsed by? It's like trying to call someone while simultaneously hanging up on them. This is the truth that nobody wants to tell you. All right, I'm going to use green, usually associated to green. Money. Truth is, money is always circulating. It's like the circulatory system on life on Earth. It's creative. It wants to be in motion. It wants to create. It's a dynamic force that wants to be used, held, shared, spent, and exchanged. When you connect with money from a place of love instead of fear, you activate the archetype of receiving. Money literally looks at you and go, oh shit, this person gets it. Let me find more ways to bring abundance to them. But most people are walking around with this unconscious belief that money is evil, or that wanting money makes them greedy, or that spiritual people should be poor. And then they wonder why money avoids them like a plague. Your relationship with money is nothing more than the aspect that you have projected onto the universe. And all the universe can ever do is mirror back to you what you're putting out there. Moving on. I feel like I'm getting better in front of the camera. If you look at some of you guys are even literally binge watching, going to my old videos and then commenting. I'm honestly a little bit embarrassed by it, but you guys still compliment me and say it's useful. Thank you so much. Point number 3, the religious programming that's keeping you broke. This next point might sound blasphemous to some people, but I need to talk about how religious programming has completely fucked up our relationship with abundance. A little bit of a history class here. I'm not going to bore you, but from the 8th to the 12th century, there were 84 monks who were regarded as some of the most enlightened people who had ever lived. And for the most part, they lived their lives of denial, pain, suffering. And essentially, I don't know how to pronounce that word, but essentially it's like no sex and, that kind of thing. Now, they might have been enlightened. I'm not judging that. But somewhere along the line, we got this idea that if you're really spiritual, this is our brain. Most of us, spiritual equals what? Spiritual means you should have less. That's most of us. This concept puts everything upside down. That's this belief in the collective mass consciousness that material things can lead you away from God. But hear me out. I want you to think about this logically for a second. This is my rebuttal, right? If you truly, really deeply love somebody and they ask you for something, wouldn't you give them everything they ask for? You'll give them anything if you love them deeply, right? Religion tells us God is a caring, merciful father or mother. And wouldn't any parent give their children just about anything that their children would ask for? And yet, religion turned this around and says, God honors you the most if you have little or nothing. Isn't the view that God wants to give out of abundance a much more sensible, logical, rational approach? This is what I realized. If we're love, and the universe is love, and there's this pulse of creation, love and be loved, that also has to be true of money. Love defines the relationship that we should have with abundance and all of creation. When you love someone, you want to give them gifts. I don't know about you, but when I love someone, I want to naturally just see them happy and smile, right? Money wants to do the same for you. I want you to conceptualize it like this in your brain. Money is saying to you, love is the natural flow of the universe. And I want you to breathe into that natural flow. This is certainly a lot better than being afraid of money, don't you think? Honestly, it took me a while to get this, and I grew up in a super religion family, literally vegetarian family. And I love meat, as you can tell. But, now that I understand this, I'm not going to fall for that trap anymore. Point number 4, everything is consciousness, including your bank account. Yeah, I said it. Now, here's where we get into the real game changer stuff. And I need you to really lock in here, because this is going to challenge everything you think you know about how reality works. Everything is consciousness, right? Your bank account, your bills, your income, the person who's going to give you your next opportunity, all of it is a reflection of your internal beliefs. Nothing more, nothing less. But it's mostly the deep-seated unconscious beliefs that are running the show. Most people are looking for external solutions to fix their money problems. And hey, there ain't nothing wrong with that. It's perfectly okay to seek external solutions and treatments. But unless you also address the internal beliefs, the problem is only going to be temporarily resolved. Here's the thing that's scary to your ego mind. If your financial struggles are coming from inside, that means somewhere along the line, your subconscious mind made some kind of mistake or adopted some limiting belief. And the ego interprets this as being bad or defective or not being good enough. Everyone feels so much more comfortable if they can just project their financial suffering to an external cause, right? I mean, speaking from experience, oh, it's the fucking economy. It's my boss. It's the fucking government. It's bad luck. You're just a victim of circumstances, right? But if what you're experiencing as financial struggle is actually being generated and helped by something inside of you, that seems to put all the weight and burden of the cost fully on you. And who wants to admit that they're creating their own financial pain? Well, nobody wants to admit that. But here's the thing. If the cause is internal, what's the next line? If the cause is internal, what's the next line? That means the solution is also internal. And that means you can't run away from it. But it also means you have complete power to change it. So it's a double-edged sword. How do I know this? Well, as you all know, according to the collective consciousness, everyone's struggling right now financially. But is that true? Is it? I mean, whether the economy is good or bad, money is always circulating. Remember that. Money is always circulating. I remember maybe beginning of last year, I was still stuck in this idea of, oh my God, everything's going to shit. The elites are going to take over. Agenda 2030. And what I perceive in reality is people coming up to me and saying the same thing. It's not until I started to meditate and release those thoughts and mentally affirm things like God supplies all my needs now, everything my wealth increases, I'm in my true place doing what I love, even before I saw it in physical reality. Slowly, I started to meet people who are thriving. Because through the studying of metaphysics, and yes, including Buddhism, not just the Bible, they all say the same thing, right? I'm going to make another parallel here. I love this because I realized in the last video, I didn't make enough of this. This is not to say like, hey, I'm so deep, but it's been there the whole time and we just haven't paid attention to it. And I'm the one, I hope I can be the one that point out for you. So the Dhammapada says, mind is the root and creator of all experiences. The 7 Hermetic Principles literally says the universe is entirely mental. Even the Bible, Matthew 6:33, I'm not going to write it down because I write too slow. I'm going to put it up here. But seek first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all these things will be added on to you. But most of us interpret it as seeking heaven after death. But the correct interpretation is written in Luke 17:21, which says the kingdom of God is within you. That's why you see a picture of Jesus, one finger pointing to the heart and another one pointing to the head. It symbolizes that when you unlock your heart chakra, which are love, compassion, and connection, and pointing to the head symbolizes consciousness awakening, when you unlock both, you find the kingdom of God within yourself. The material abundance will get added onto you. Once again, let's make a parallel on Eastern philosophies. Tao Te Ching on chapter 16 says, reach the ultimate emptiness, hold to profound stillness. The Bible has a similar verse, Psalm 46:10, be still and know that I am God. What's the parallel here again? The stillness is the key. Now, what does it mean to be still? Like, do I just not do anything? Well, to be still, it means both literally and metaphorically. Be still and surrender. I briefly mentioned in my last videos that since you were born out of your mom's womb, when was the last time you shut down your 5 senses and just let go of everything mentally? I mean, I didn't do it until the past few years, and I came to realize that our ego, which are 5 senses, are also attached to the physical reality. We forgot who we are. We are source consciousness, but in different physical vessels. The only difference between me and you is that I might be this Asian guy with Wolverine body hair and glasses and handsome, hopefully. And you might be a different body, perhaps taller, perhaps muscular, skinnier, different gender, it doesn't matter. We are all one. So no, the Bible is not the only one that talks about this. There's a parallel between Tao Te Ching, Buddhism, and Bibles. And I'm going to sum it up for you. Bible, oneness through God. Tao, oneness through Tao, which to you Westerners just means infinite intelligence to you Westerners. What am I talking about? I'm sorry. Buddhism wants us through emptiness. Okay. With regard to money, we want to feel empowered rather than feeling like we are powerless in the face of it. And this comes by integrating your higher self, your soul consciousness, into your relationship with money. Then you become the master of it, because money is just one other thing inside of your awareness. Point number 5, your past money trauma is blocking your present abundance. Here's something most people don't realize about why they can't seem to break through to the next level financially. Your ability to receive money right now is being fucked up by old emotional baggage from your past that you haven't dealt with. Think about it like this. Every time you had a stressful experience with money, that energy got stored in your subconscious. Maybe your parents fought about bills when you were a kid. Maybe you felt shame about not having enough. Maybe someone made you feel guilty for wanting more. All that shit is still living in your system. And here's what's crazy, right? Your subconscious doesn't understand time. So to your subconscious mind, that financial stress from years ago is happening right now. It's like having a song stuck on repeat in the background of your consciousness. I remember growing up, every time money came up to my family, there was this tension, right? My parents would stress about expenses, talk about how we couldn't afford things, make comments about rich people being greedy. And even though I consciously want abundance now, part of my subconscious is still running those old programs. So how can you maintain a high frequency relationship with money when there's financial trauma playing in the background? You can't. That's why some people seem to always have money problems, right? Those scarcity frequencies are still active in the subconscious, creating the same patterns over and over and over again. What you need to do is go back and heal those memories. Not by changing what happened, but by changing the emotional charge around what happened. Utilize your imagination to rewrite how those experiences feel in your system. If you're like me and had financial stress with your family growing up, visualize it resolving it beautifully. If you feel shame about money, visualize yourself being celebrated for your success. You're not changing history, you're changing how that history affects your current frequency. When you do this work, you're literally reprogramming your subconscious to reflect abundance instead of scarcity. And when your subconscious is programmed for abundance, that's what shows up in your external reality, because your subconscious is the womb of your reality, 1-to-1. All right, so I feel like I've talked enough about, all the foundation. Now, relax. You're gonna guess some. Should I be like Nero? Relax, you're gonna guess some? Or should I be like, games loading, I'm cooking? I don't know. I'm still working on my branding, but you're gonna love this. Point number 6, how to actually reprogram your money frequency. All right, so now that you understand all the deep shit about why you have been struggling with money, let's talk about how to actually fix this in your daily life. First thing, you gotta stop fighting your relationship with money. Most people are in this constant battle, getting stressed every time they check their bank account. The resistance is what keeps you stuck, ironically. Instead, you need to start operating from a place from knowing that abundance is already yours. Not in some delusional way where you just pretend you're rich when you're broke, but from understanding that everything exists in consciousness first, before it shows up physically. Here's what I do. I treat money like it's already flowing to me, right? When I wake up in the morning, I don't check my bank account first thing and let that determine my mood. I connect with the feeling of abundance first. Then I take action from that state. It's like this. Imagine there's a river of money flowing towards you right now. It's coming from upstream and it's going to reach you downstream. The only thing that blocks that flow is your doubt, your resistance, your old programming telling you you don't deserve it. So start acting like someone who expects money flow to them. Not arrogant, maybe a little arrogant, not entitled though, but with quiet confidence that the universe wants to support you. Because when you're aligned with that frequency, opportunities start showing up differently. People start offering you things and ideas comes to you and you notice possibilities you were blind to before. That's not magic, it's just how consciousness works. But the key here is consistency, all right? Every day, connect with that abundant feeling before you do anything else. Every day, take action from that state instead of from fear or desperation. Every day, choose to see money as your friend instead of your enemy. This is not about positive thinking or fake it till you make it. This is about aligning your internal frequency with what you actually want, so your external reality has no choice but to match it. I'm going to sum it up here, the real game. Look, I know some of this might be difficult to digest for your brain right now if you're hearing it for the first time, but I'm telling you, when you really understand that you are not a victim of your financial circumstances, that you're actually the creative force behind your circumstances, everything changes. You stop being reactive to money and start being creative with money. You stop letting your bank account determine your abundance mindset and start letting your abundance mindset determine your bank account. Remember, you exist on multiple planes of consciousness: mental, physical, spiritual. 98% of people are stuck operating primarily on the physical plane, which is actually the lowest form of consciousness. But when you start operating from your higher self, from that source consciousness within you, you realize you have the same creative power as the divine because you are connected to the divine. Your external world is just a reflection of your internal world. Change your internal relationship with money, and the external has no choice but to follow. And one more thing, if you're an entrepreneur or someone who's stuck in a revenue and want to work with me one-on-one, link in the description to book a call with me. I think I've covered everything for today. That's it. Peace.